Lukas is actually, we were talking earlier, and I mentioned that to him actually, that he is currently the president of two organizations. One, the Polish American Chamber of Commerce, but also Lukas is an attorney at law. About a year ago, he and another gentleman decided that we really, as a group, Polonia really doesn't have too much representation going these days anymore. Historically, we remember the old days of Danny Rostenkowski and Roman Paczynski, and about a year ago, another gentleman called POL-PAC, Polish American Leadership Political Action Committee. And we all talk sometimes here at the bar, or if not here, other places, and we always mention to each other that it would be nice to have, we do have a huge voting bloc here in Illinois, especially in the Chicagoland area of Polish Americans, but we really don't have anybody that, is up there. We have some Polish judges, of course, but how come we're not treated like other ethnic groups out there who are represented very well? And I asked Lukas if he would be kind enough to join us this evening and talk a little bit about POL-PAC. Without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Lukas Fuksa.
Congratulations on your new baby. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you for having me. When John had asked me to speak here, I thought, what a great way to reach out to me as president of these two organizations, not because it's me, but because I'm involved in these two other organizations, and I always promote collaborating together, getting organizations involved to help each other out, get other members involved with those organizations, and so, just by extending that offer, it really made me feel that this organization is onto something and isn't one that's just inclusive of its members and no one else, and doesn't want to invite anyone else in. So that really made a good impression on me, and I know some of you here and many I don't know, so I'm very happy to speak. But what I wanted to speak about is, John had asked me to think of like a topic, and I thought maybe the title of it will be Why Polish Americans Will Regain Influence Over American Politics. And I bet there's probably most of the people here out there that don't believe that they ever will. And in fact, there was just actually a recent article, I don't know if any of you got a chance to read it, I'll be happy to email it to you, and I meant to actually bring it for reference, that someone had written and mentioned some of the names we've heard of past Polish politicians that have really gained a good reputation, and said what happened to them, how did this, it seemed like we were an influential bunch, and something happened that fell through, and we haven't been able to regain that ever since. And he ended the article by stating that we never will regain that again. Our time has come and our time is gone. And I think part of the point of the article too was the fact that we didn't have enough guts to really take control when we could have. And these were, I'm speaking from a reference of reading an article. I didn't live through many of these times as many of you have, so I'm at a disadvantage. I love to hear some of the stories you have about it, but at least I have had a chance to read about it. I'm familiar with some of the past politicians who have led our Polish American community, but why that stopped and what happened, I really don't care about. What I care about is why we're going to regain it and how we can regain it, and I believe we will. I believe we will, and I'll tell you why I believe we will. But before I do that, I just wanted to briefly mention this organization that I had started with a gentleman named Ari Zweig, which some of you may know. We had discussed about what many of you discussed, saying, why don't we have influence? Why doesn't the Polish American community really have a strong representation? Why don't we have a large, strong voice? Why don't we have elected officials? And why do we just complain about it? You know, and so we decided, let's form an organization. We don't want an organization that's competing with others. We don't want an organization that's doing similar things that others, because they're out there. You know, and I was telling someone, as much as I love Polish culture and Polish history, this isn't what our organization is about. There's organizations out there to support that. You know, Polish businesses, there's another organization for that too. We're a political action committee, and when the first thing that people ask, how is your organization different? I tell them, we're actually a political action committee. We're registered with the Federal Election Commission. We're able, pursuant to the restrictions that apply to us, take in contributions from individuals and corporations, and then give our support financially to candidates that we feel are worthwhile. So it's a huge distinction. I don't think there's many, if any, Polish organizations out there that are actually capable of doing that. So there's the one main thing that separates us. And our organization is one that, you know, you see other ethnicities, and you have the Jewish community. I was invited to JPAC, or I think that's what it was.
JPAC.
Yeah, JPAC event. It was on a Wednesday night, and I go there thinking, oh, it's probably like, you know, one of those events that I've been to before for any other organization. It was like at the Hilton Hotel downtown, or yeah, I believe it was the Hilton Hotel. They had about 3 ballrooms rented out, and about 3,000 people in attendance. And Mike Krzyzewski, the coach from Duke, was their speaker. And I thought, how the hell did they do this? And how the hell would we be able to do this as the Polish American community? And I thought, I don't know if we could. But they have something that we don't have that unites them. And we don't have that's something that unites us. And as I was speaking with someone before, you know, people say about how Polish culture and how Polish people are, that they sometimes, instead of supporting and praising someone's success, actually try to bring them down, or think, well, that person did something na levo, illegal, to gain that success, or he knew someone or whatever, instead of really saying, you know what, this guy's so successful, I want to learn how to be like this guy. And people keep saying, like, well, you know, why are we like that? But everyone I talk to says that. So one of those people that I talk to that says that must have that attitude, but no one admits to it. And I think really that's the core of our problem. But again, I don't want to dwell on what the problem is or was. I want to dwell on more what we're going to do that's going to change that. So the reasons, there's really 3 main reasons why I think the Polish American community will regain political influence, and why we will have a strong voice. The first one is what is historically known as the third wave of immigration. And for those of you that may know, the third wave of immigration occurred during the Solidarity movement, starting in the 1980s, when the military took over the government, and then that progressed to the end of communism in 1989.
Martial law.
Martial law. I was losing the word, thank you. So that, I fall into that because my family came here in 1982, exactly because of that reason. We refugeed to Austria. And you know, that may be important to you or not, but the reason it's important to me is because there was such an influx of immigrants during that time. And those people were younger. Those people, well, the parents were younger, but those parents had children too. Like my parents had me, and when I came when I was 4. And those parents, some individuals came and had children in the U.S., but those children now are older, in their mid-20s, early 30s, and they're graduating college, and they're becoming professionals. They're becoming doctors and lawyers and business owners and accountants, and they're not doing what my parents or the people who immigrated during that time were doing. because they couldn't really assimilate that well based on their education, even if they had a great education. So you have these people now that are in their mid-20s, early 20s, mid-20s, early 30s, let's say, throughout the decade of the 80s, that have grown up now and are in a position of professionalism. And they're different than what my parents were because they're educated in the U.S., they speak English, they've assimilated into the United States. And I'm an example of that. I don't mean to make myself an example of it, but I connect with a lot of these people because when I meet them, we share the same stories about growing up in the United States as a Polish immigrant from a very young age. And what's really shocking is how much they're actually proud of their Polish culture and heritage. And you know, for me, I actually grew up mostly among Americans. I didn't have a single Polish friend throughout the time I was really, you know, through grade school, high school, college either. And somehow, when I got older, when I graduated law school, I came back to the Polish American community. And I got so involved, and I thought, how is this happening? But I loved it, and I felt like I was doing something that was really going to make a difference. Became the president of the Polish American Chamber of Commerce. That way got even more involved, and here I am now. And these other individuals want to do that same thing. They really, I've seen it. I see them organizing. There's a lot of youth initiatives, a lot of which you may have heard of. There's the POL-PAC conference that's pretty much just for all young Polish American professionals. There's the Pangea is another group that's organizing for youth. There's another group of girls that have this Connect, Inspire, Grow initiative in which they present seminars and all that. So I see that these young people are really able to unite. And that's something that the older generation of Poles hasn't been able to do. And that's why things are going to change. And I think, you know, that's why as the POL-PAC, what we decided to do, even though, you know, the other co-founder really, Ari, he's an older gentleman. We're definitely probably close to 30 years apart in age. But he was smart into thinking, you know, I want to get someone younger involved to do this with me. And what we decided, the first thing that we would do is that we would organize a junior board. And we've done that. And we have a junior board as well as the regular board. And the junior board was so excited about this that they would be able to get to be a part of it and be able to participate in this, that it was really, it wasn't really surprising for me to see, but it was very inspiring to see that our future is in some good hands. So, you know, along with that, the fact that they're young, they're able to connect very easily through social media. So you have your, you know, besides email, your Facebook and Twitter and whatever else is out there, and they really are able to organize. I think that's why that stronghold of young Polish Americans will be very influential in the future. And I think even if we're unable to do something today, I think we'll be good for the future. The other thing I wanted to mention is another point why we will regain influence. It may seem that I'm putting too much weight to this, but I think it'll make a huge difference, and that's the visa waiver legislation that I believe will maybe even be here before the year's end, and if not, within the next half year or so. And I truly do believe that, and I've gotten the information from good sources. So why, you know, a visa waiver, great. You know, a lot of you are thinking, well, do people from Poland really even want to come here as badly as they did in the past? Why does that matter to us? How is that going to influence politics? Well, I think I think it will greatly, and I'll tell you why. I think it's going to drive business to the United States. I think it's going to drive entrepreneurs because there's a lot of talent in Poland and sometimes not enough resources to take advantage of that talent. And I'll get to that because that's also a point of mine is with respect to the actual talent that is in Poland. I see it from a first-hand basis as the president of the Polish American Chamber of Commerce because we do trade conferences and in fact we just participated in Tech Week, which is really the largest technology conference in the United States, and the PACC had a lounge there, a big space, and we were really prominent. And what happened is we collaborated with Google Poland, and Google Poland ran a contest in Poland to select, out of thousands of contestants, select 5 technology startups that would be flown here for Tech Week and participate in it. So what I learned, I had first-hand experience about how technologically advanced and savvy and talented Poland is. And I think that's a huge factor as to why Poland, or the U.S., Polish Americans will regain political influence, because whenever you have an asset like that, you make money, and whenever you make money, you have power. And based on that, that power is going to lead to political influence. And if it's without me even saying it, why do you ask yourself the question, why are politicians even considering passing the visa waiver? Well, it's because Poland is an asset. Polish people are an asset, and they know that. And they know that it'll benefit the U.S. and it'll benefit the U.S. economy. So that's, an indirect example of political influence that we already have, is to convince our U.S. legislature to enact this visa waiver program. And so sometimes we don't think about that wow, that's actually a huge accomplishment. And, these politicians are listening to us, because sometimes Polish people have a tendency to complain and dwell on the bad things. But really, that's already a great example of the influence we already carry. And the reason we do it is because Poland itself is a valuable asset. And my third point on that topic is kind of interrelated to what I was saying. What I think is happening in Poland is what I refer to as the Polish Renaissance. Because really, for those of you that may not be as familiar with what's going on there, it's really remarkable. I mean, Poland's economy, Poland was the only country in the EU throughout the recession to actually grow in GDP. That's right. Out of all other countries that belong to the EU. I mean, that's remarkable. It really is. And there's certain areas in Poland, there's technology incubators that are formed there. And technology is taking such a great presence in Poland that it's becoming like another Silicon Valley. And that's what they've dubbed certain areas in Poland that may be the next Silicon Valley. And this is happening, and I think this is really going to have an impact on what happens in the United States. Again, and I mentioned the pool of talented labor. I read something that, to give you just kind of an example of it, Russia has about 3.7 times the amount of people that Poland has, but its actual talented labor force in the area of technology and engineering is almost equal. So if you do the math and take it as a per capita basis, it's really remarkable the amount of people as a whole and the amount of talented labor in the engineering and technology sector in Poland. And so, as an attorney too, I see that that a lot of companies that need software developers, for example, are going to Poland to get that talent. So I think those are the 3 main reasons. I think we will gain political influence. I encourage you, I don't even know where I am time-wise with this, but I don't want to take up too much time. I really highly encourage you to look into POL-PAC, go on our our website, which is pal-pac.org. Now, it's not an organization that's about large donations from individuals. It's an organization about large amounts of individuals participating. We have, our lowest membership is $20. That's what we want. We want tens of thousands of the 10 million Polish Americans that are in the United States to join, even on a $20 level, because the more people we have, the numbers speak, and the larger voice we'll have.